Welcome to DuckTV Sports. Alongside Anthony Piganelli, I'm Shannon Hartley. University of Oregon athletics were stretched across the nation this week with both winter and spring sports in action.
We'll keep it here in Eugene to start off as the Oregon women's basketball team hosted the University of Washington on Friday night. On Friday, the Oregon women's basketball team took on the sharpshooting Washington Huskies at Matthew Knight Arena. While Washington had been rather successful this year, coming in at 18-6, the Lady Ducks have had a season to forget with only 3 wins all year. Washington won the first matchup between the two teams back in January, 66-53. Early in the first half, it's Danielle Love with a nice post entry to Brenner for the easy jump hook, 9-7 Washington. But then it's Jasmine Davis with the smooth baseline drive and finish for an easy 2. UW now up 8. Just before the half, it's Heather Corral to Christy Kingma for an open corner 3 to make it 47-28 Washington. On to the second, and it's Davis to guess who? Kingma again for Trey. Huskies pulling away 64-39. Then it's Mercedes Wetmore with the dime to Corral for another 3. Washington shooting lights out with 18 total 3-pointers on the night. Bartender, how about another Kingma? 11 3-pointers on the night for her, shattering a conference record. She would end up with 35, and the Huskies would go on to win 97-71.
What happens in the second half when you're down, 18 going on 20, is that shooters become much more relaxed, and, it's like, practice for them. So make it inside an 8-point game, and it's harder. But credit to credit. UW's shooters, particularly Kingma, was spectacular tonight.
It's hard right now because, we're losing. Everyone's kind of like in that place where it's like, it's either I'm injured and I can't really say anything because I'm not playing, or it's I'm playing but I'm not doing what I'm saying. So it's kind of like, when do you just like let that go, like forget what you're doing or what you're not doing, and just step up? Like, when is that gonna click into anybody's mind, like even myself? And I think that's hard for our team, that we don't have leadership, and it's tough.
Because we're so young, it's just like, where do we step up? And it's kind of like last year we had older players, so it's kind of like we just kind of like look to AJ or look to Nia and look to Jasmine. But now it's more of like, wow, we have to look ourselves in the mirror and be like, we need to step up for these young freshmen or these young sophomores who are playing out there, because we are the upperclassmen.
The Oregon men's basketball team managed to squeak out an overtime win against the struggling 11-15 Washington State Cougars this past Saturday. The Ducks rallied back from an 18-point deficit in the first half behind senior E.J. Singler. Singler once again proved his leadership by putting up 25 points, 2 of which came late from the free throw line to seal the victory 79-77. Singler also now holds the Oregon record for most wins in a career at 82. The Ducks have won 3 straight and are atop the Pac-12 at 10-3. They will next face the Bay Area schools at home this weekend.
Coming off its best season in school history, Oregon baseball is back in action. The Ducks opened its season against Hawaii for the 3rd year in a row. On Friday, star pitcher Jake Reed pitched 6 scoreless innings to go along with 7 strikeouts. And juniors Aaron Payne, Brett Thomas, and senior J.J. Altobelli all scored in the Ducks' 3-0 win over the University of Hawaii. On Saturday, the Ducks took down Hawaii 5-4 behind 3 doubles by Ryan Healy. For more insight on Oregon baseball, we send it over to Andrew Bantley and McLean Cannon for this week's edition of Pac'n'Heat.
Oregon's baseball season now underway in the midst of a 4-game series in Hawaii. So, Andrew, the Ducks come into the season ranked 6th in the country. Where do you see their strengths heading into the year?
This team is really, really strong with the pitching staff. Of course, they lost Alex Cadell last year, the Pac-12 Pitcher of the Year. Jake Reed, their ace, looks to continue his dominance from his freshman year, kind of take over that role that Alex left. And then they got Tommy Thorpe in the 2 spot. And the 3 spot's kind of interesting. You don't really know yet. Jeff Gold or Cole Irvin, we're going to see. And their bullpen's great. Of course, Sherfy, 19 saves last year. And then Christian's going to come in from Tommy John last year. It's going to be a good pitching staff.
I would have to agree. This team is centered around pitching and defense. They're going to win a lot of low-scoring, tight ball games. But as you look at the offense and the guys returning, the whole infield is back, a lot of experience in the outfield. You look at guys like first baseman Ryan Healy, outfielders Brett Thomas and Kyle Garlick. Look for them middle lineup bats who are going to produce a lot of runs for the Ducks. Okay, biggest question mark heading into the season?
Well, of course, the Ducks lost Brett Hamright, their big catcher. He gelled really well with the pitchers. There's a connection there that just can't be described. And this year, Josh Gamm looks to kind of take on that role. He's a freshman, It's going to be interesting to see how he reacts, but I'm really excited for him. There's a lot of hope for him, so that's going to be the big question mark.
I think you're exactly right. The Ducks do have the slightly more experienced Sean Chase to plug in there at the catcher position if need be. Either way, there's going to be some growing pains, and I mean, neither of those guys really strike fear into opposing pitchers. So Ducks have their home opener on Friday against Loyola Marymount. Nothing like a little February baseball.
It's going to be cold.
All right, back to you guys.
2 Oregon athletes competed in the annual Millrose Games this past Saturday in New York, New York. Senior long-distance runner Jordan Hesse and junior sprinter English Gardner both placed in their respective events. While Hesse placed 10th in the women's Wanamaker Mile, Gardner broke across the line for first place in the 60-meter dash with a time of 7.19 seconds. Gardner beat 2 Olympic medalists in the process and finished with the second fastest 60-meter time in the NCAA this season.
Back in 2007, Oregon quarterback Dennis Dixon was a Heisman frontrunner in position to take the Ducks to its first national championship in school history. Then he suffered a season-ending knee injury, ruining the Ducks' postseason hopes. Fast forward to 2013, and Dixon is now reunited with his old offensive coordinator Chip Kelly after signing a 2-year contract with the Eagles last Thursday. Dixon is 2-1 in his 4-year career as a starter and will have the opportunity to fight for a starting job in Philadelphia. It will be interesting to see if Dixon can compete for the starting job over there in Philly.
Absolutely.
All right, for Shannon Hartley, I'm Anthony Piccanelli. Have a good night.